Hi, everybody. Well, my students wanted me to do this, so I'm going to. When I was I moved out when I was 16, and when I was 17, I got a little ill, so I decided to go home. And I thought I had a little cold. But after a few weeks, my mother took me to the doctor, and I'm in there, and he's yelling at me at the top of his lungs, telling me I'm deathly ill. And I walked out of there feeling awful. And I remember thinking, how come I felt good when I went in there, and when I left, I felt terrible? I've since later learned that there's a medical term called iatrogenesis, and it means diagnosis that brings on sickness. And they know it happens. That's why they gave it a name. Anyway, well, I was sick for 6 weeks. My mother kept me in her bed in these old rooms that were really high ceilings. And on the last day, I thought a paper towel roll was being held to my eye because I didn't know anything about near-death experiences. And through this paper towel roll, I could see her yelling at me. And then I saw her go to the phone, call the doctor, and then I heard her say, "Line's busy," and she threw the phone on the floor and ran out the door. And as she runs out the door, I find myself on the ceiling in the other room watching her go. And the first thing I think is, she bawls me out for leaving one of those doors open, but she left both of them open. But that was kind of nice because I heard birds chirping for the first time, saw this lady walking her dog, taking deep breaths and going, I'm not in pain anymore. This is nice. And then, let's see. Oh boy, yup. I was up there for so long. I thought, gee, I'm the only one up here. How come everybody else is on the ground? Do I have legs? And I bent down to see if I had legs, and I got sucked back into the other room where the doctor had pronounced me dead. And I opened my eyes and scared him silly. And then the next day, I'm completely well. And I asked my mother, what were you yelling at me for? She goes, you didn't look good. Your eyes were closed and you didn't look good. And I said, yeah, but I could see what you were doing and I heard. And I told her. Well, that was the end of that conversation. Yeah, well, before my mother passed on, I taught her how to play pool just so I had some memory of her because we couldn't have a conversation together. Anyway, let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. Yup. Thanks, Chitakea. I like these earrings very much. Okay. Yup. Also, my students want me to tell you about the first time I drove a car. This is after the near-death experience. And I'm at a party with a bunch of people, and they decide to drive to Montreal, but they're all drunk. And it's snowing, and they decided since I was the only one who was sober, I should drive. Well, I'd seen my grandmother drive with her knees on the steering wheel, so I figured, how hard can it be? So I got in the car and I drove slow just to figure out where the brake and the gas and the lights were. And they thought I was going slow because of the snow. And by the time we got on the highway, I'd figured out the car. And I drove halfway to Montreal, and then I said, hey, guess what, guys? This is the first time I've driven a car. And they said, pull over. So that was the end of my first driving experience. Okay, folks, tell people to subscribe to my YouTube, please. Thank you very much. Aha. Toodaloo.